Expect the unexpected.
Greetings to you all, and thank you for visiting us here at the VDT Academy. We're here today to talk about knives. Primarily, Sarasilat is focused on the very unique use of those knives. In America, however, we have certain exigencies that are defined either by law or by custom or just social niceties. And there's a lot of nuances to knife carry in America that we want to look into, as well as the actual applications of the use of the knife. What I'm going to talk about here for a moment is some of the different styles of knives that an American may carry and how they may be accessed, what may be done with them. In most of our minds, the valley saw is the knife that has been most associated with martial arts. And you can go anywhere from the Filipino versions of them to some of the more expensive Benjamin versions of them. Basically, with the valley song, you don't have to worry about the lock. That's one of the things you do not have to worry about with the valley song once it's open. However, you do have problems with legality. So we're going to set this aside for a moment and talk about more something that Americans can carry. At the outboard limit, while I was with Spyderco, I designed a knife primarily for police and military use. It was designed to be just right on the verge of legality, but yet small enough and compact enough to easily access, open with one hand, and have available immediately. It had enough of a butt to be used like a Yore or a pressure stick, and it could be opened with one hand, either in the sarab position, which is blade up, or in the normal American use position, which is blade down. This is on the verge of legality in most places. There is also a design with the tip up, where the knife sits in your pocket, tip up. And the draw on that is a little slower. It comes out of your pocket, and generally it's the backhand that's going to be drawn. It comes out of your pocket and into use, blade up. Closes with a lock sitting on the back and a little tang up front to keep the sharp part of the blade from dropping on your finger as you turn it and close it. I have seen legality issues even with a knife that size. So sometimes you get no more than that. And if that's all the knife that you get, you might as well get one with a serration on it. Knives nowadays are made either right or left-handed. The idea of the left-handed knife is one that we developed 20 years ago back in Spyderco days. It's now become fairly standard. One of the standard of the excellence in the knife world is the Benchmade lock. This happens to be an axis lock. The lock sits here and is released by pulling back. So the knife can sit right on the top of your pocket and open either left-handed, or you can turn it over and put it in your right-hand pocket and it'll open right-handed. So you have your choice either way of opening the Benjamin access lock. In the quest for speed, there has always been the concept of a switchblade. And a switchblade is indeed fairly quick to get out. The problem, once again, that you have with switchblades is that they're illegal for anybody except police or military. So it's very rare that you'll see an American carrying a switchblade. What you will find, however, is like the skin onion design for Kershaw, you have what's called an assisted opening, and that is a liner lock. A liner lock provides a stop right on the front of the tang, so it's virtually impossible once that lock sets to close the blade. The blade is closed by releasing the lock, pushing it towards the clip, and then closing the blade on the non-sharpened part of the tang, which stops on your finger, and then you just close it up and put it back away. In the early days with Spyderco, I developed a pair that I called the Pet Pigs. This was back when they were called Pride, Integrity, and Guts. And this was designed absolutely for combat with a non-skid on it, slightly rounded on both sides. And once again, you have all of the mobility that you would need to use a blunt object and the ability to have the blade with you absolutely immediately anytime that you would desire. The blade up and blade down concept is something that is new to me. I've never considered a blade any other than blade down until this weekend. And I had the good fortune of attending the Sarat camp here in the VDT Academy. And one of the things that we learned was the effectiveness, the incredible effectiveness of, as you're drawing a blade, for it to be sharp side forward. Now, once again, this is another example of something that Americans can't really do. You can't put a big old honking knife sheath on your belt and go walking down the street. So we pretty much have to kind of forget this too. The concept, and a lot of people still like to just play. And play is fun. If you're going to pull a bow and you want the blade up, then you just have the latch sitting down. If you want to pull the blade the regular way, the American way, then you can just set up. The latch being on the top. If you want to draw blade down, the latch being on the bottom, if you want to draw it blade up. And that's about the extent of knives that we can carry, other, of course, than some of our little necklace knives and some maybe little belt buckle knives and things like that that are kind of toyish in a certain way, but very nice to have around. Thank you very much. Practice is absolutely critical when it comes to knives. You've got to build it into your daily life. When you grab a package to open, grab your knife to open it with. When you're just playing around, you don't have anything better to do, you're playing with your bally song. The best thing that you can do with a bally song is throw it away. Then it's in somebody's foot and you can grab and do what you need to do. But if you take the time to actually practice your draw and thrust and things like that, you'll find that you can get a cardboard box that will work just absolutely beautiful. You grab your knife, you open it, and as you would draw it, you twist it. So you get that twist that Jerry was explaining to you. When you do virtually anything that you're going to do, when you open a bag of potato chips, take your knife, use it, put it back where it goes. That way when you need it, you know right where that knife's going to be. Some of the things, as Mr. McCleary mentioned, are a bit graphic. That is one of the realities of modern day life in America. I wish it weren't so. But always remember, the very best self-defense in the world is a great big smile. Just don't make people